thoughts on Kelvin Gastelum versus Jared Cannonier? What do you think of the fight?
Well, it was a close fight. It was a good fight. Definitely Jared won the fight. He was just looked a little bit better than Gastelum, to be honest.
Yeah.
Gastelum had a pretty tough go with all the takedowns, and I guess it was ultimately just he got outstriked a bit by Cannonier.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a close fight. You got to give credit to both guys. But, I mean, Jared looked like the better guy tonight, or yesterday, should I say. But, yeah, no, I appreciated where he's coming from with the striking. I thought he looked good. I don't know if I'm ready to consider him like a legitimate threat to Israel Adesanya. But, I mean, with that being said, I was happy with what I saw from him. I was happy with the cardio. He came ready to go all 5 rounds. And overall, solid fight.
Yeah, solid fight. What do you think? Do you think he's going to get a title shot after that, or what are you thinking?
It's tough to say, right? Because as the 3rd ranked middleweight, I feel like he could. I'm obviously after Whittaker does, so we know it's going to be Adesanya versus Whittaker next, but we don't really know what's going to happen after this. But I think it kind of depends on what happens with Brunson and Till, to be honest with you, because I think if Till gets the win, even though he's not really on like a great run, I think he's gonna get the title shot. Even if he can beat Brunson, who I mean that would be a big win. I think they'll give him the title shot. If he gets a big finish against Brunson, I think it makes him kind of undeniable for it. He just has a lot of hype behind him. He has a huge fan base, especially in the UK. And I mean, Adesanya's expressed interest in fighting him too. He said he wants to fight him at some point. So I honestly think that's the next fight they'll make, even though the Cannonier fight against Adesanya would make more sense.
Yeah. But what did Cannonier say after the fight? The timing might not work out of that because he said he needs to fight for money, right? So I don't know if he has the time to wait for that title shot.
No, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to fight for the title next. I mean, we all know what's going on with COVID and stuff, and in New Zealand now they're like even more locked down over there. I don't even think Adesanya in New Zealand, and I'm not sure about Whittaker in Australia. I'm not even sure if they can get over the border to fight right now.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's at the very earliest we'll probably see it in like the first half of the year 2022. So I'm not really sure where that's going to leave Cannonier. Maybe he fights the winner of maybe Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori. That could be interesting. Or honestly, the winner or loser of Till Brunson. I mean, like I said, I think if Till wins, he's going to get the title shot. If Brunson wins, I don't think he gets the title shot because Adesanya already took him to school. He said that's his son, which, I mean, he made it look like it in their last fight. Yeah. So, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I think you're right. I think Till definitely has a bigger fan base, and I think Adesanya has expressed more of an interest in fighting Till than he has in fighting Brunson again.
Yeah.
Even though Brunson has been looking better since he lost to Izzy the first time.
Yeah, he's on a roll, man.
Yeah.
He's looked great, yeah.
So that could potentially happen, but like you said, we got Till and Brunson, and then we got Vettori and Costa. So Cannonier I could see him fighting maybe one of those guys before he gets the title shot again. Yeah. Because he just lost to Whittaker too. So if Whittaker beats Izzy, I don't know if they're going to make that fight again right away. He might have to win another one to get that.
That's a good point, actually, yeah. It's kind of tough to sell that after that fight because Whittaker dominated him too. But I mean, against Izzy, I don't think he's that far. He's probably a win away, potentially. I mean, we'll see, but...
And wasn't Costa supposed to be fighting Cannonier on that fight?
He was supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wish it had been Costa, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because that's a tough go for Gastelum taking, that fight. I don't know if it was short notice.
Not super short notice, no.
So he still had time to prepare, but, he's been getting really tough matchups. His last, a bunch of fights have been against really tough guys.
No, so get this. So his last fight was against Whittaker, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that was June or something.
Right.
That was supposed to be Costa's fight, right? And then this fight he takes Costa's spot again. So, I mean, he's just taking people's spots right now. He's fighting up. He's having a bit of a tough go at it. I mean, he's getting opportunities, and he's still, like, in these close fights, but I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a drop-off after this one, maybe?
Yeah, he can't. He has to fight a lower ranked guy to come back. He can't fight another top guy. If he loses again, it's not going to be good for him, because he's lost, like, I think, what did you say, 5 out of his last 7 fights? Or
oh man, I think, yeah, no, actually even more. So I'm pretty sure. So his last fight, obviously, he just lost to Cannonier. He lost to Whittaker before that. I believe there was another. Was it Adesanya before that? No. That can't be right.
There might have been another one in there. I know he won one against, I think, was it Ian Heinisch?
Ian Heinisch, yeah.
And every other one, I think he's lost.
Yeah, so it's a little bit weird, right? So like I said, Cannonier, Whittaker, and then he beat Heinisch, who's unranked, and was at the time. He lost to Hermanson before that, which was kind of the only fight. Like, he got dominated in that fight too.
Yeah.
It was like a round 1, minute 18 submission by Hermanson, and then before that, lost to Till, lost to Adesanya,
Right.
and then all the way back in 2018, he's got a win against Jorge, who just retired, by the way.
Oh, he retired?
Yeah, so he's officially retired from mixed martial arts now.
Okay. It's not mad at it. He's old. He had a couple tough fights. I think his last few he was losing.
Yeah, he lost like 5 in a row.
Yeah.
He's a legend, though. I mean,
yeah.
it was time to retire, though. The UFC cut him. He said he might still compete in like just jiu-jitsu now, which is cool. I mean, I feel like when you're, I think he's like 40 now. When you're 40, I feel like just doing jiu-jitsu maybe makes a little more sense. He still just loves fighting. So, I mean, I'm happy for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, where were we? We were talking about Gastelum, right?
Yeah.
Where do you put Gastelum now?
Well, he was ranked like
Ninth.
9th. He just lost to number 3. So I don't know if he goes down in the rankings necessarily. Probably.
He's probably staying, I think.
Yeah.
Uriah Hall is number 10. I don't think he should go behind Uriah Hall.
No. Maybe he could. Yeah, I think he should fight another guy closer to his rankings.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Instead of fighting up, maybe they give him a lower ranked guy to see if he can come back a bit. But man, it's tough because he was so close to that title shot. He had his fight with Izzy was the closest fight out of anyone's with Izzy.
Yeah.
And now he's just losing, going down in the rankings. So
that wasn't that a number 1 contender fight?
Which one?
That against Izzy. Was it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that was for the title. That fight was for
Not
the
for
title.
the undisputed.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Was it?
No, because Izzy beat Whittaker for the undisputed in New Zealand or in Australia.
Huh.
That was definitely for the title. Because remember, before that, Whittaker beat Romero for the title. He had those 2 fights with Romero.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
Then maybe it was like a top contender fight.
Yeah. That's crazy though that he was in that spot just like 2019, and that was such a battle too. And now he's like, I mean, I'm not gonna say he's dropping off because he's still really in these fights. Like the fight last night with Cannonier was close, but I mean he's been struggling as of late.
Well, his fight with Izzy went to decision, right?
No, Izzy took him out right
Did he?
at the end.
Oh, okay.
Within, I think there was like 10, 15 seconds left or something. But it was like, it came down to the wire. Like, nobody's messed Izzy up like that.
No, yeah. He was the closest to being taken out of all the fights he's won. Obviously, there was the one with Jan, but that wasn't even in the same weight class. So I don't necessarily consider that when I'm looking at these guys. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my pick for Gastelum's next fight is actually, I said Brad Tavares. I think Brad Tavares is ranked 13th, right? Gastelum's ranked 9th. But like we said, I mean, he's been having a tough go recently. And Brad Tavares, he's kind of the opposite. So he had that really tough Izzy loss a few years ago when Izzy was coming up. And then who did he lose to after that? He had one more loss after that. And then in 2021, actually, he has 2 wins over ranked guys. So he's ranked number 13. So, I mean, I think it'd be a fun fight. Honestly, most guys who give Gastelum, it's a fun fight. And I think it's not really fair to have Gastelum fight up again because he's fought up for like his last like 4 fights. So I mean, I think you have to give him a guy who's a little bit behind him. But that being said, still a ranked guy at number 13.
Yeah. Well, and Gastelum, like a lot of his losses have been kind of close decisions. It's not like he's been getting knocked out left and right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, and I didn't think he looked pretty good against Cannonier. It's just Cannonier was a little bit better, a little bit ahead of him.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit stronger, a little bit quicker. Who knows? But yeah, it's tough to say. But I definitely think you're right about him maybe fighting a lower ranked guy in Brad Tavares. That would be a good matchup.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you hear the post-fight interview with Cannonier?
Yeah.
With DC?
That's what I was saying. Like when he said that, I was like, whoa, because...
Let me just read off the quote for anyone who didn't hear. So after the fight, his quote was, "I'm broke, so I need a fight. Hopefully I get the title shot, but the right name might make me say yes." So that's the number 3 middleweight saying he's broke.
Mm-hmm. And he's relatively active too.
Yeah.
So it's not like he had a 2-year layoff where he's not making any money. So that just must mean he's not really getting paid that much, which is not really a good look on the UFC for one of your top contending guys up there, almost in title contention, being broke, being able, like he said, because I think DC was saying like, so you ready for the title shot? And he's like, man, I don't know if I can wait for that because I'm broke. Like I need to fight again to get some money. So like that's not good, man. Like,
no, it's ridiculous. It's such a bad look for the UFC. And we both love the UFC so much, I honestly love Dana too. I love what he's done for the sport of mixed martial arts in general, but it's just like when you're number 3 contender in middleweight, and like a good guy at that too, middleweight is like pretty deep. When your number 3 guy is saying he's broke, that's a problem, right? I mean, these guys in the UFC, they don't really make that much money. You would think they do, but they don't make that much. So most sports, if you look at like football, soccer, the NHL, most of these guys, it's like a 50-50 split. So like the management and the other people in the organization, they make about 50%, and then the athletes make 50%. Mm-hmm. So just based off the fact that the UFC, I mean, if we're being real, it's obviously it's not worth as much as like the NFL. So these guys aren't going to be making like hundreds of millions of dollars on contracts. But I mean, the guys in the UFC are making, it's like a 20-80 split. So management and like the UFC staff makes like 80% of the money. So Dana White's making a buttload, and then the fighters get like 20%, other than a few stars. So guys like Brock Lesnar, Conor McGregor, maybe you can throw the Diaz's in there, and then Ronda Rousey, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically you have to be a superstar, and it's not even about, like, you can be the best fighter in the UFC, and if you don't, like, if you're not promoted like that, you're still not going to get that payday, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
I mean, it makes me sad for sure, because a lot of these guys, they have to figure out stuff outside the sport. So there's guys who are doing it well, like Jorge Masvidal with his Game Bred FC, mm-hmm. which is like bare knuckle MMA, which is sick and good on him. There's mm-hmm. guys who are like building their name well and doing relatively well, but not many of these guys are really making a killing in the UFC. I mean, even look at Conor too. He's making, I'm sure, more than any UFC fighter. Or he's made more in the UFC than any other UFC fighter, and people look at it, they're like, well, Conor McGregor, like top paid athlete of 2021, these guys can't be paid that bad. He sold a company. Yeah. He sold a freaking company. These other guys up there like Cristiano Ronaldo, he didn't sell a company this year. Mm-hmm. He's just making his money playing soccer and through sponsors. Yeah. Like Conor McGregor made, I believe it was about 180 million this year, which is sick, good for him. Mm-hmm. But like, I think like 30 mil of that was actually through fighting. That's the thing. A lot of that money didn't actually come from him being an athlete. It came from his business, but just because he's an athlete, he's technically the top paid athlete. Yeah. Even though most of that money didn't come from him performing in the UFC. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it just depends how you look at it, but he's still the richest, the top paid athlete of the year. Yeah, so far. Yeah. So far, yeah. Yeah, and like just going back to that fight, just to wrap this up a little bit, so Cannonier was supposed to fight Costa, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that fight goes exactly the same, except he's fighting Paulo Costa, do you think he gets more notoriety from the fight? Like, do you think he deserves more credit for beating a guy in Paulo Costa's position as opposed to a Kelvin Gastelum?
Well, nah, not really, because like I'm looking at it like Gastelum had a really close fight with Izzy, and it's like Izzy's the guy to compare people to because he's the champ, right? And then you look at Costa's fight with Izzy, and that was like, honestly, that was not a good fight. Costa looked horrible.
This guy's doing MMA math right now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. And like, so honestly, after Costa's fight with Izzy, like I think it took a lot away from Costa. Like I'm not. I don't.
He hasn't fought since then.
Yeah, and I don't like he didn't look very good at all. So.
No.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe like he was saying, oh, like I was sick, like whatever. This
He said he got drunk the night before. That was his major excuse. He was saying he's like I couldn't drink the night before, and he's like sometimes when I can't sleep. Or
he said he couldn't sleep.
He said he couldn't sleep. He said so. He's like sometimes when I can't sleep, I'll just have like one drink, and he's like one drink turned into like a bunch of drinks, and it's like man, like that's just it's not a good look.
I honestly think that's just an excuse.
And of course it's an excuse.
Not a very good one.
And even if he did that, like you have to be accountable for that, right? He got pulverized in that fight. So yeah.
But yeah, basically just based on that, I don't really hold a win against Costa in the highest regards, but it depends. We'll see how the fight goes. If it's a freaking really close fight, if it's a bloodbath, then yeah, but if it's just Costa getting run through, like then yeah.
Fair enough. I don't see it exactly like that because to be fair, Costa was unbeaten prior to losing to Izzy. I mean his record, the guys he'd beaten other than Yoel.
I thought he lost that fight.
So that's the Yoel win is like by far his biggest win. Other than that, didn't really beat anyone all that notable.
But really thought Yoel won that fight against Costa. Against Costa.
It was I did too, to be honest.
It was close, but I don't think he should have got the win. I think they just gave Costa the win in that because Yoel had already had a bunch of title fights, and they're trying to pump Costa up because obviously he had that back and forth with Izzy at that point.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense to. Like, Yoel definitely had to knock him out to win the fight. If it's going to decision, they're not going to give it to him in that scenario.
You think?
Yeah. Because the UFC is trying to plan ahead a little bit, you know what I mean? They're trying to make, like, these future matchups where they have big pay-per-views and stuff.
Yeah.
And it would have been weird because Yoel had already fought for the title, like, 4 times and lost, so, like...
Yeah. I mean, he's a killer. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight in Bellator, though. That's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm happy he's still competing because he's a freak. He's a freak athlete, so I still like to see him fight.
But back to Costa Vittori. How much do you like that fight?
Honestly,
I like that fight.
I do like that. That's a good matchup.
You know what my favorite part of that fight is? The shit talk. How good is that shit talk gonna be?
It's gonna be funny.
But it's both guys with like broken English who just like shit talk like crazy. They're both like big muscle heads. I think it's gonna be great shit talk, man. Like just after seeing both of those guys in their trash talk with Izzy, I think it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Bueno.
That's gonna be a good fight too. Like,
yeah.
Good matchup. Those guys are both freaking killers, but I don't know, man. I expected more from Vettori in his fight against Izzy. He kept going for the same stupid takedown that he could never complete. Like, hopefully he comes in looking a bit better. I thought that fight was going to be better.
Honestly, I didn't take too much away from Vettori in that fight. I didn't really think he could get it done against Izzy, and he's got a hell of a chin. But yeah, I think Izzy just strategically fought a really sound fight that fight. I don't know, who do you favor, Costa or Vettori?
Well, like what I was saying before, if you look at both of their fights against Izzy, Vettori's...
So Izzy's the benchmark?
Yeah.
Dude, it's Izzy though. It's Izzy. Oh,
I know, it's tough to say because everyone's a different fighter and they all bring different things to the fight, but Izzy and Vettori at least went 5 rounds. Costa just got knocked down and then humped. Like, so.
Both of them got molested by Izzy.
Yeah, Izzy's out here molesting people. It's kind of weird. And I saw him talking. Ariel Helwani was asking him about that, and he was just like, yeah, I had to show him that he was my bitch.
Yeah, I saw that, bro.
He's like, sometimes you just gotta smack a bitch or something. I was just like, Izzy, what are you saying,
Come
man?
on, Izzy. No, I love Izzy though. He's not afraid to run his mouth. You know?
No, not at all.
He says a lot of controversial stuff.
Yeah.
No, I love that about him. I think that's a banger though.
Yeah.
And I'm really stoked for what I was saying earlier, the Till versus Brunson one. Do you think Till can get it done there? I think you favor Till.
I'm a little biased because I'm
a lot biased. Dude.
I'm a huge Till fan. I just want him to win. I don't really give a shit about Brunson. So I really like Darren Till. I would honestly want him. I want him to beat Izzy.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Izzy's my favorite, but
I like both guys, but I wouldn't be mad at seeing Till get the title just because he's so funny, dude.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy. He's a fan favorite too. Good banter every fight.
I want to see good fights, and if Till, it's not gonna be Till just knocking him out in 10 seconds. If Till wins, it's probably gonna be a close fight, and there's probably gonna be a rematch. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't mind seeing a.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves though.
Yeah.
You think Till can get through Brunson?
Oh. Yeah, like I said, I really hope so, but Brunson's been looking good recently.
Really good. I've been super impressed. I mean, the Kevin Holland fight, I can't take too much from that because he has, at that point, he had literally 0 ground game.
Yeah. But, and Kevin took that on short notice too, so.
Did he? I think he took the Vettori one on short notice after that.
Oh, yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm always right.
But, yeah, you're always right. But, but Holland he's fighting so consistently. He's not, he hasn't taken a lot of time to basically improve the holes in his game. He just keeps fighting and fighting.
He is now.
Now he is, which is what I want to see. Well, you kind of have to after you get dominated 2 times in a row for the same reasons, not having any ground game. So hopefully he comes back with. I like Kevin a lot, so hopefully he comes back with some more ground game.
Man, you switch lanes just so fast. We're like Till Brunson, and then we start talking about Holland, and then you're just talking about Holland.
My bad.
No, it's all good. So who do you think is gonna win that though? Give me a definite statement here, Jason. I need a statement.
Darren Till is going to win. I'm saying it right now.
Decision, knockout. Are you even? Do you
I don't think
courage to even guess around?
I'm gonna say, it's a 5-rounder, right? Is that a main event?
Yeah.
So, I don't think it ends in the first round. It's 2 or 3. I think Till gets him out of there in maybe round 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hope Till wins too, but I just hope he can stay healthy, man. He's been pretty injury prone recently.
Yeah, because he trains like a freaking animal. He's he needs to take it easy. Every time I see him talking on an interview or whatever, his face is just all busted up. It's man, what are you doing? Bare knuckle boxing and training?
Yeah, that's a fun one though. We'll have to discuss that a little more before it happens. And then the other one, I don't know if you'd heard about this or not. Sean Strickland's actually fighting Luke Rockhold.
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
So Rockhold's coming out of retirement?
Yeah.
To fight Sean Strickland. Okay. I don't really like Luke Rockhold, to be honest with you.
He's a bit of a bird.
Kind of a tool. But, yeah, it'll be a good fight. Last time Rockhold fought, I think he just got knocked out or something.
Oh, yeah. I think it was his last 2 fights he got finished.
Yeah, and then he retired.
Let me look at the records for that one. So Luke.
Yeah, but Strickland, it could be a close fight. It's hard to say because I've really only seen that last fight with Sean Strickland that he had where he looked pretty good. He didn't. It wasn't crazy, but yeah.
Okay, so for Luke Rockhold, it was a TKO loss against Jan Blachowicz, TKO loss against Yoel Romero, and prior to then, so he had a win over David Branch before then, lost to Bisping, and The Bisping's loss is kind of when everything started going downhill for him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's definitely interesting to see him come back. I think Strickland's going to win, honestly, primarily just based on the fact that he's been the more busy guy. I mean, I think, not to get too off topic here, but I think a big factor going into, Poirier beating McGregor is, he just fights more. He's been training more.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting in more reps, right? He's getting way better while McGregor is... I mean, he's training. He was training boxing and stuff, but he's not improving at the same pace as Dustin Poirier was.
Yeah, Dustin was improving tremendously. It's really impressive.
And I think that's kind of the case for that fight. I just take Strickland just based on activity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I on a biased opinion, I just don't want to see Luke Rockhold win, so I'm gonna take Strickland too.
No, that's a fun fight though too, because it's kind of it's like a classic striker versus grappler fight too.
Is Strickland primarily a grappler?
Striker. Actually, he has good grappling though.
So Rockhold's a grappler?
Yeah, Rockhold's a good grappler. Yeah.
Oh really? I don't know that much about him. I know he can throw a cool question mark kick.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
he's good. That'll be fun. And the last thing about this what was it, Vegas 34 card, that the other fight that I loved from this card was the Pantoja versus Royval card fight. I thought that was a really sick fight. I love that for flyweight too, because it's a real shame that they just buried this fight. I think it was the first fight on the main card, and you got your number 3 guy at flyweight who beat Brandon Moreno once on what was it? Something that doesn't count towards your record. I think it was it The Ultimate Fighter? I believe it was The Ultimate Fighter. You beat him once, and The Ultimate Fighter, and he beat him once in the UFC too. So we're talking about a guy ranked 3rd who just beat the 6th ranked guy who actually has 2 wins over the champ. So that's a pretty compelling argument for a title shot, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think they even had a little call out after, because Brandon Moreno was in the arena, and then it was the nicest call out I've ever seen. But
I like that though.
Yeah. But how crazy is that, going into a title fight knowing that you've beat the champ twice already?
Yeah.
That's a weird narrative. You don't usually see that. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe based on that fight, obviously Pantoja has high level grappling, but his striking didn't look up to par with Moreno and Figueiredo.
I agree with you.
Yeah, those guys are their striking is crisp, man. And, but we'll see.
Do you think Pantoja should get that fight before Figgy Smalls gets the rematch though?
I think they can give Figueiredo a rematch right away. Based on the first fight, incredibly close. Second fight, wasn't as close, but there was some. I think Figueiredo had an injury, or was
he had a really tough weight cut.
Yeah. So that could honestly be a factor, and I would not be mad at seeing that fight again. I think Figueiredo deserves the rematch based on what he's done for the division.
Yeah.
You said earlier, he kind of brought the life back to the flyweight division.
I think so.
Henry Cejudo, I do not like that guy.
Let's not get off topic.
Yeah, sorry,
my friend.
Sorry. I'm all over the place today. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at seeing Figueiredo get the rematch.
Henry Cejudo's a trigger word for Jason.
Yeah, sorry, I do not like that guy. He's so annoying.
No, I agree with you though. I mean, Figueiredo, like you said, he rejuvenated that flyweight division.
Yeah. And
also he was fighting so much last year too, or in 2020 he was no, I think it was 2021. He had a fight months apart.
Mm-hmm.
He's super active. And like you said, that first fight was really close. Moreno dominated the second fight, but I think we give him a 3rd fight right away.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be a little disappointed if he doesn't get one.
Yeah, and then you could maybe say Pantoja fights, maybe for the title, maybe one more than the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends how active he wants to be, right? In an ideal world, I would want to give him the winner of that fight. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be mad if they gave him the loser either, because I mean, Figgy or Moreno, that's a great fight either way. But I think they would probably give him the winner, or they might just have him fight Moreno.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, who else is there up there? that deserves a title shot, really? Like,
There's Askarov.
does he deserve a title shot more than Pantoja? I don't think so.
I think, did he just beat Pantoja though?
Did he? Yeah, I may have missed something along the way there, but
I don't think the UFC's really in a rush to give him a title shot though either.
I don't know. I
really
didn't
the most
even know.
exciting fighter.
I didn't know he was that high in the rankings. Like, I honestly had no idea.
Yeah, so he just beat Joseph Benavidez in March.
That's impressive. Benavidez is really good.
Prior to that, he beat Pantoja. That was like the middle of 2020, and then Tim Elliott before that. So he's the number one contender right now.
Yeah, honestly, he could be in for a title shot, considering he's recently beat Pantoja.
But on the other hand, I mean, we've seen Pantoja beat Moreno, so I'm a little more compelled towards that fight.
Yeah, that is honestly a huge narrative going in. Like I was saying, that's crazy going into a title fight knowing that you've beat the champ twice. Or from Moreno's perspective, being the champion, knowing that you're fighting a guy who's beat you twice. Like,
yeah.
But obviously Moreno's improved tremendously probably since those fights. I don't know how recent they were. Probably not too recently. But,
not super recent. No.
So it's kind of a different story going into this one.
But a good story.
Yeah. But it is like, I don't know if it's like affects your confidence going in knowing that you've lost to this guy twice, or maybe he doesn't care. I don't know.
Well, it'll be interesting to see.
I really like Moreno, though. I want to see him stay on top for a bit.